R.M. Salter, the RAND Corporation, this is the report that a lot of this was based off of. The most demanding technical problem is lateral accelerations, the side-by-side moves. A vehicle traveling at 550, and Scarlett, you're saying much faster than 550 miles per hour,
800
cannot
miles
undergo sharp turns. Another trade-off, too much air will create drag and heating problems. Brian Blair with us from Wedge Partners. I mean, it's not the technology of a smartphone, but it's basic physics, isn't it?
It is basic physics. And what's interesting is that these are things, like you mentioned the hockey table, these are all things that we know. I think the initial 72 plan is very similar to what you find at a bank when you send your check over and it goes through that little, through that little vacuum tube.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this was based on. What's different about what Elon Musk is proposing is that there is a little bit of air in there, because one of the problems with that model is if there was a crack anywhere in the system that this didn't work. Where Musk's plan allows, I think it's light air. It's not a perfect vacuum. It's light air. So look, this makes sense. There are, I think, a number of physicists who have looked at this and said this is real, this is possible. It's just a question of whether or not it makes sense.
Barry Ritt also with us. I mean, you got to give a major cred here in that this is innovation at the cutting edge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, he originally brought up that this was supposed to help the traffic situation in L.A. I don't see how it's going to do that. It'll make his commute from San Francisco to L.A., from SpaceX and Tesla down to L.A. a little better.
Is this just rich people?
Well,
maybe. I mean, I don't know how you get by the earthquake issue. If this has really, really tight tolerances, anybody who's ever spent any time in California, when stuff starts to rumble, hey, it's one thing when pictures are crooked. At 800 miles an hour, there's not a lot of room for error.
It's 1/10 the cost of what California is doing right now at 4 times the speed. They at least should look at this. They at least should look at this and see if this is realistic to consider.
And if you have to look at Elon Musk as a disruptor here, a lot of people were giving him trouble for the Tesla, and now they're in waiting line to get it.
Right.
He co-founded PayPal. He shook up the banking industry. He came out with the first mainstream electric car. You've got to give him props.
Might I point out, we had a Spanish train crash where the guy went just too fast. We had the...
But that wasn't a high-speed rail. That was a regular...
I know, but we had the airplane crash in San Francisco. I mean, the idea of public policy and human error has to be folded into this. When you're looking at these tolerances of air pressure and speed and that lateral motion, we all know that.
When you take the shuttle to JFK, that's robots driving. There is no human error. As long as the engineering is sound and the design is manufactured to the appropriate tolerances, we've removed a lot lot of the human factor out of it.
Self-powered through a solar panel device.
I think what we need is robots for our stock portfolio. That would be...
It's not a bad idea.
Robots on surveillance.
Yeah, absolutely. Hyperloop.